looking at this is, and let me be real clear about this. I do not want to have anybody be overcome by what they call paralysis of analysis in battle. Okay, this is something to simply exercise your mind and be cognizant of while you are practicing your techniques. That makes sense? While you're practicing. If Billy comes in for a delayed sword, for example, okay, he's traveling on one dimension, isn't he? Okay, he's covering depth. Okay, if I match that dimension as he steps into grab, okay, we're still at a kind of a checkmate, right, or a check. Okay, because I just matched him. I didn't do anything different. Okay. So he's traveling one dimensionally. He changed. Now he's got two dimensions to him, doesn't he? But he already had a third, his height. Okay. When he comes in, though, if I drop and if I execute on a number 5 plane, which tells me 5 is diagonal, okay, and I can execute on a number 5 plane in many ways. And this is the thing that I want you to think about. A number 5 plane is this disc, if you will, that travels left 45 degrees to the center of my body and back out the back. Okay. So we have forward and we have reverse, or we have front and rear motion. Okay. He's traveling at me on what I would call a number 3 plane, okay, or a number 3 direction. Okay. I'm going to try not to confuse you, but you will be confused until you take some time to look at it. Because I've spent a lot of time looking at the universal pattern and using it to teach. Ask any of my students that are thoroughly confused by the universal pattern. All right. So as he comes in, I execute. I have several ways I can do this, but they're all going to be basically on a number 5 plane or in a number 5 direction. I can execute horizontally, so my block moves horizontally with this geometrical path. Everybody know the difference between a geometrical path and line? Put your hand up. Yeah? No?
No.
No? With a geometrical path, as stated by Ed Parker, is basically the distance from one point to another point. That whole entire path is covered. Okay? So typically, offensive and defensively, we cover, defensively we use paths, whereas offensively we use lines. Does that make sense? We have our target, we have our weapon traveling on a line. We count this weapon to strike, and it's just a line. Now this is a circular line. If I shoot up this way, it's a straight line, isn't it? Okay? So it's linear. So I have circular, linear. But I have lines and I have paths. He comes at me with a line of action. I cover that with a path of action. Does that make sense?